Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I have just finished watching the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is going to be the first of 6 episodes, I believe. And yeah, I think this one was originally meant to be the very first entry into Phase 4, or at least after Black Widow, I think. In any case, yeah, this is a much more grounded show, obviously, than WandaVision. And it's kind of refreshing, actually, after all the craziness and all the theories and all the possibilities of WandaVision. It's kind of refreshing just to have like a more grounded, more character-based take on like, hey, this is the real world, we have to deal with like real human regular issues. And this episode definitely dived into that. In fact, I was kind of surprised. Like, it starts off with like this amazing action sequence, which was really great, but it very quickly, like, it focuses on Bucky's kind of trauma. He's still having nightmares of his time as the Winter Soldier. He's still trying to make amends for all the stuff that he's done, and he's seeing a therapist. And basically what we're revealed is that he's been given a pardon, which, you know, I think that's fair. Interesting, they haven't really yet addressed the Sokovia Accords situation, but I have to imagine that that will come up, because there were several people in the Avengers, you know, like half of them, that did not sign the Sokovia Accords, and I don't know if those accords are still active or not. You know, obviously there was this whole 5-year situation where like half of them were gone. And so I don't know if that like kind of put the Sokovia Accords on pause, or if they were like, they just tore up those documents altogether. It's an interesting situation, but Bucky's been given a pardon. He's mandated to see a therapist, which makes sense. They even kind of make a joke about like, you know, she's like, just to make sure you don't, you know, and she makes like a stabbing motion. And I love that the therapist seems to have a little bit of a sense of humor about her. We kind of saw that in one of the trailers, but I love that that's going to be a reoccurring thing. I kind of hope that every episode has at least a small segment with the therapist. That would be a pretty good reoccurring joke if that's going to happen. In any case, yeah, he's hanging out with this elderly Asian man, which I don't know if this, you know, my first thought was, oh, is that supposed to be that character from the first Captain America movie? And it might be. I'm honestly not sure. In that first Captain America movie, they had like a whole group of fellow soldiers that they were with, but I don't remember any of their names. So I don't know if that was supposed to be one of those guys or not. But in any case, you know, I might have to go watch the scene again. I might be wrong. But we have a dream sequence where Bucky's dreaming about a mission that he went on as the Winter Soldier, and then it seems that he might have been the killer of that guy's son, or at least that's what I think happened. In any case, I think that that's gonna be definitely where Bucky's story starts. You know, he's probably gonna be investigating like, hey, who sent me on that mission that I'm dreaming about? And I'm sure that's gonna all tie back into this whole Flag Smashers thing, which you know, we saw Falcon's storyline, which, by the way, this first episode, they haven't even like crossed over yet. So you have Winter Soldier stuff and then Falcon stuff. And I imagine by next episode, they're gonna, you know, come together and their whole story's gonna start. But yeah, anyways, so Falcon has been working with the Air Force, and he has this friend who kind of casually mentions like, oh yeah, there's this terrorist organization called the Flag Smashers, and I'm kind of just tracking them on this app or something. It was kind of unclear to me. He like somehow had like a, you know, if this organization can just be talked to through an app, it kind of feels like it should be easier for the government to find them. But yeah, it seems like they set up this thing where a bunch of people just kind of put on these masks and worked as like a mass distraction to allow someone who I believe is going to end up being the girl that we see in the trailers, also in a mask, escape with, I'm assuming, money, if not something more important, these 2 bags full of stuff. And this person definitely has like super soldier serum or something, because they kicked this other guy across the street. So there's definitely some super soldier type stuff happening here, and it's all gonna, I imagine this is where we're gonna get this convergence between Bucky's memories of whatever mission and whatever he was doing there, and then Falcon stuff. I imagine through the Flag Smashers it's all gonna connect to each other. But we also see that Falcon has given up the shield. He decided that he did not want to take up the mantle. He even talked to War Machine about it. Talking about how, like, the shield felt like it was somebody else's. And basically what we see is this, he hands the shield over and they put it in a glass case. So, it's clear that, like, they told him, oh yeah, this is going to be like preserved for history. It's like a monument, like an American monument, right? And then by the end of the episode, they're just giving it to some dude and be like, this is the new Captain America. So clearly it's like, okay, that is not what you told Sam was going to happen. He was seemingly under the impression that it was going to be like essentially put in a museum, Indiana Jones style. It belongs in a museum. And then they're just giving it to some dude who's going to, he's probably just some tool. And he just, look, the character, I forget U.S. Agent. I think that's going to be what his code name is in the comics, U.S. Agent. But he didn't say a single word on the TV, but he just looks like a douche. He looks like one of those characters that you're just gonna be like, God, I hate this guy already. And he hasn't said a single word yet, but he just looks really douchey. I don't know. It's anyways, you can already tell that that's gonna be a character that you hate. But yeah, other than that, we dealt with a lot of like real world issues of, Sam's trying to get a loan from the bank to help, I guess, the family business. There's some kind of I don't know if they're fishers of some sorts. Anyways, they run a business. There's a boat involved. There's fishing involved. Down in New Orleans, and basically the bank rejects them, saying like, hey, you haven't had any income for 5 years. Which his sister makes a great point. Like, how can you make an income if you don't exist? Like billions of people, like literally half the planet did not exist. So, but that's gonna affect their credit, which I gotta say, that's a very real world take on what would happen, because if this all really happened, that's absolutely what the banks would do. They would be like, oh yeah, sorry, your credit sucks now, despite the fact that there's no way for you to have chosen to disappear for 5 years. Man, that was frustrating, but it was also very real, and I can already tell that, like, this show's gonna deal with some heavy issues. This show's gonna be like, this is gonna bring up some conversations on Twitter, That's what I mean. The banker made some comment about how, like, everyone came back and, things have to tighten up, and the sister's like, funny how they always seem to tighten up around us. So, there's definitely gonna be some, like, racial issues that are talked about and discussed. Maybe even if they're, I don't know how much they're gonna talk about it, how directly, but it's definitely gonna be one of the underlying, like, themes of this show, which I really appreciate, because tackling these, like, these real world issues, these political issues, these, like, banking and everyone disappeared. It's, this is just what happens when you have a much more grounded in reality show, and it feels like Winter Soldier, the movie. I mean, not the character. It feels like the movie Winter Soldier. In the sense that it was like this sort of political spy thriller. I'm very much getting those tones where there's, like, similar themes are going to be running throughout. But yeah, I really enjoyed this first episode. There's a lot of setup, a lot of things we have questions about. Is there another reason why Sam gave up the shield, or was it really just because he didn't feel like it belonged to him? But of course, now that they gave it to some douchey looking guy, now I feel like Sam's gonna have to be like, man, the government just gave it to some random dude who they probably just shot up with super soldier serum and been like, yeah, he can be Captain America. and he's just gonna be a douche, and you know it. And yeah, I'm kind of expecting to see more cameos in the future. You know, I had heard beforehand that War Machine was gonna be in here, but you know, I kind of thought he was gonna save Falcon, like, because it got pretty close in that first action scene. I thought War Machine was gonna show up and help him out, but no, he just shows up later during the little press conference. Last thing is about Steve. They leave it vague. They don't directly say if Steve died or is just in hiding or whatever. They kind of make a joke about, like, oh, there's a conspiracy that he is living on the moon or something, you know, which is definitely real world stuff. Like, you know, unfortunately, as we've seen, you know, when crazy stuff happens, conspiracies will be endless. So I can only imagine how crazy conspiracies get in the Marvel universe. In any case, it's a good setup episode. There was some good action. There was some, like, real world heavy topics. There was a couple of funny scenes of dialogue, you know, just some friendly banter. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait for, like, these two characters and their storylines to converge. I do appreciate that, like, it wasn't like immediate, you know. It wasn't like oh, they just, you know, they went out for a beer and then they saw something crazy and now they have to work together. It's like, no, they're both kind of dealing with their own lives and crazy shit. And in fact, I also, there was one little line dropped that I believe was meant to be kind of a hint towards WandaVision, because they say something along the lines of, like, nobody is stable. Some of our allies became enemies or something like that, and that kind of felt like a dig at Wanda, you know, because by the end of that, it's like, because remember, WandaVision happened in 3 weeks after Endgame, and this is happening several months after Endgame. I believe this actually happens around the same time as Spider-Man Far From Home is happening. So maybe we'll see some, like, kind of calls to, like, oh yeah, there's some crazy stuff happening in Europe, whoa, you know. That'd be cool. But yeah, just pretty cool. I'm excited to see where this is going. I have to imagine that the Flag Smashers and this new douchey Captain America, it's all related in some way. There's a lot of super soldier serum stuff happening in the background. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And yeah, this was a good first episode. It's refreshing to get a grounded series now. In fact, it seems like we're gonna, you know, at least for now, we're kind of doing this, like, back and forth of, like, WandaVision was crazy and anything could have happened and conspiracies are going to be everywhere, whereas Winter Soldier is going to be, it's more grounded and straightforward and linear, and, you know, there's still some mysteries, but there's not a lot of, like, conspirizing about, like, whoa, what if Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shows up? Like, nothing like that's going to happen, you know. And then we're going to get Loki, which they've already started releasing posters for. And Loki's going to be the one where it's like, yeah, kind of anything could happen, because we're messing with alternate timelines and who knows what else. You know, so it seems like we're going to kind of go back and forth there. But yeah, I enjoyed this first episode. I had a pretty good time. I'm excited for what happens next. And I actually really enjoy the real world issues that they're talking about here. It's gonna get heavy. It's gonna, like, there's gonna be some articles written about this, I'm sure, and it's gonna be like, you know, Marvel deals with, you know, our real world financial kind of situation and crises, you know. Like, you can't watch that banking scene and then kind of also think about what's happening with the pandemic and people had to close their businesses and you know, in a almost similar way, we kind of had, like, a year off, you know, a year plus off in the real world, whereas they had 5 years, people disappeared in their world, you know. So there's some kind of parallels going on there, and you kind of have to think about, like, you know, this is kind of this all seems a little familiar. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think might happen next. How much do you want to punch that stupid douchey face of the new Captain America? Because you know he's gonna be just some huge asshole. How much do you want to punch him in the face? Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!